These spirituals have been sung and played by blind Willie McTell, 42 years old, and blind from babyhood, at Atlanta, Georgia, on November the 5th, 1940, for the Folk Song Archive of the Library of Congress in Washington. I wonder if you know any songs about colored people having hard times here in the South.
Well, that old song that have a reference to our old people here. There hasn't very much stuff of the people nowadays because
Any complaining songs, complaining about the hard times and sometimes mistreatment of the whites. Have you got any songs that talk about that?
Not we have. Not at the present time, because the white people are mighty good to the southern people, as far as I know.
And you don't know any complaining songs at all?
Well,
ain't it hard to be a nigger? Do you know that one?
No, that's not in our time. And now it's for spiritual down here. It's a mean world to live in. But that still don't have reference to the hard time.
It's just because of why is it a mean world to live in?
Well, no, it's not altogether. It has reference to everybody.
It's as mean for the whites as it is for the blacks, is that it?
That's the idea.
You keep moving around like you're uncomfortable. What's the matter, Willie?
Well, I was in an automobile accident last night. It was a little shook up. No one got hurt, but it was all jostled up mighty bad. Shake up. Still sore from it, but no one got hurt.
Say, this is old-time stuff?
This is old-time stuff that's original way back, you understand, in our old foreparents' time. Maybe before I was born, but it come up as a child when I used to go to the country churches. All out in the country where I was partly raised from a youth up to around 15 or 16 years old. People sing those old songs and remembrance of their old parents that come up before them. You know, it's back in them days. It's not this day and time, because this day and time the stuff is too fast, but it's way back in that day and time.
Now, Blind Willie, you talked about this blues was made before the original blues. What do you mean by the original blues?
You know, when the blues before they got real popular, back in the days of 20s from on, blues just only started out in 19 and 18, but
well, they were original then, weren't they?
Yeah, they was original then, but they weren't popular. Nothing but just a few blues, such as Crazy Blues, St. Louis Blues, and all. I am talking about the days of years ago. Count from 1908 on up to the original years. Back in the years of those days, blues had started to be original in 1914. From then until the wartime, people always had times from blues on up to original blues. Then on up to 1920, the change blues. After then, there was more blues. After then, there come the jazz blues, some like this. And after then, there's more blues, come the fast pieces. And after then, it come the blues of change days, getting in the alley low. People call it the alley. Call it in the colored race of blues. Now we take our white race of the southern states. They play a little different from we colored people. Now here's some of their pieces. That's the idea of the white people. Now you come back to the color, they have a different type of playing. Now we have some pieces goes like this. And that's the color. Here's our color again. And still, we have down in the alley of blues, just like the white when they play the Yolan song, but we have our blues a little different. Thanks.
Now, where did you grow up, Blind Willie?
I grew up down in South Georgia. Statesboro, Georgia was my real home. I was born at Thompson, Georgia, 134 miles of Atlanta, 37 miles west of Augusta.
Well, how long have you been a musician?
Oh, I taken music up when I was quite a child, but in the period of time, I quit for 8 years. After the 8 years, I went back to playing as I entered into blind school, Macon, Georgia. I continued my playing up until 1927, the 18th day of October, when I made record for the Victor record people. And from then up until 1932, I played for the Victor people alone, by myself. But in the period of time, in 1929, I made records for the Columbia people, changing my name to Blind Samuel. I was the authorizer of this song, Come On Round to My House Mama, the Cigarette Blues, and the Atlanta Strut, and so on. And after then, I worked with the Vocalion people of 1933, taking up an odd job. They're paying you a small sum of money of $50 a week, but they was getting all the records of blues that they can, which we call the alley. And after the period of time, I picked up another job with the Decca Record Company. Wanting the blues, they give you a small sum of money, but get paid expense. And after the period of time, I returned back to Augusta, Georgia, where they had moved the machine, where they made a gang of blues there in the summer, in June of 1936. And after the period of time, I haven't made any more records, but I have lots to be released. And at the meantime, my different managers that I worked under started under Mr. Ralph S. Peer of 1619 Broadway of New York. After the period of time, I worked under W.R. Calloway and Mr. A.E. Savage of 1776 Broadway of New York. After the period of time, I worked under Mr. Dave Cap of 666 Lakeshore Drive in Chicago, Illinois.
Well, tell me more about your blindness. Who ran this school down at Macon?
Well, it was run by the state of Georgia. The principal was Professor L.H. Williams in the days and times that I was there.
And how long did you stay in that school?
From 1922 up until 1925, when I returned to New York and went to a little independent blind school out there. From there, I went with a friend of mine to Michigan and studied over there as learning to read the Braille. And in the meantime, I returned back to Georgia on my travel. I followed shows, different shows around, medicine shows, carnivals, and all different types of little funny shows after a period of record making.
Well, what do you know about Blind Willie Johnson?
Blind Willie Johnson was a personal pal of mine. He and I played together over many different parts of the states and different parts of the country, from Maine to the Mobile Bay. But I returned to party from him in Union, Missouri. He and I met up again in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Well, now, what do you consider his best music?
Well, sacred music. He has a heavy voice, more sound like a preacher.
And does he play the guitar with his sacred music?
Sure, he plays the guitar with the sacred music with the steel ring.
And you think Blind Willie Johnson is dead, do you?
I think Blind Willie Johnson is dead, according to a letter I got from his wife. But he was a very good friend of mine, and he was a notable singer in his type of singing.
Did he play a 12-string guitar?
Only a 6-string guitar.
Was he a good guitar picker?
Excellent, good.